He has a grown-up daughter whose eyes are black. She is ready for marriage, and she has good character and all good qualities. She is also searching for a good husband. My dear sir, her parents will come to see you, who are exactly suitable for her, just to deliver the daughter as your wife. Purport. The selection of a good husband for a good girl was always entrusted to the parents. Here it is clearly stated that Manu and his wife were coming to see Karma Muni to offer their daughter because the daughter was well qualified and the parents were searching out a similarly qualified man. This is the duty of parents. Girls are never thrown into the public street to search out their husband. For when girls are grown up and are searching after a boy, they forget to consider whether the boy they select is actually suitable for them. Out of the urge of sex desire, a girl may accept anyone, but if the husband is chosen by the parents, they can consider who is to be selected and who is not. According to the Vedic system, therefore the girl is given over to a suitable boy by the parents. She is never allowed to select her own husband independently. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Prarijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastacha Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Atmajama sitam bhangim vayashila gunanvitam mlyagantim patim dyasyati anurupayate prabho. He has a grown-up daughter whose eyes are black. She is ready for marriage and she has good character and all good qualities. She is also searching for a good husband. My dear sir, her parents will come to see you, who are exactly suitable for her, just to deliver the daughter as your wife. So here we continue. The Lord is here promising that Karma Muni will get what he wanted, a suitable wife, because he has a desire to get married, showing that if you worship the Lord, whether you have material desires or no material desires, if you want liberation, you should worship the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of God, and then you will not be met by frustration. And so, as we know, this marriage will take place according to culture. This is the highest standard in how union of man and woman is supposed to take place. This is according to Manu, and as this is the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu himself. Swayambhuva Manu is an representation of the Supreme Lord. It's stated in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that Lord Krishna is Swayambhuva Manu. So the instructions from Swayambhuva Manu and Manu Samhita is bona fide, and we also follow Manu Samhita according to what the acharyas have told us. Not everything, we cannot follow everything that is in there, but we follow what is essential, what is important for advancing Krishna consciousness. Manu Samhita is moral codex. It is what humans are, what they must do and must not do in order to sustain morale and stay away from animal propensities. So then later they will get married, and Karma Muni will fulfill all the desires of his wife, which is the duty of the husband, and they will get children together, and we know Kapila Muni will manifest from this union, and then Kapila Dev will instruct his mother on the science of Sankhya Yoga, the difference between matter and spirit, the science of the soul. And then Karma Muni will leave, as he said he would do. And later, Kapila Dev will also leave, and Devahuti will be taken care of. And this is also according to Manu, that the mother is taken care of by the son. Now Kapila Dev is the supreme. He will take care of her, but in his way. So everything is, this is the culture. This is the highest standard portrayed here. This is where we should be. It's easier said than done. So we should not be surprised if there's anywhere in this organization where it is not taking place. We should not be surprised, because it is 180 degrees from what we usually do here in the West. Prabhupada here is saying what we should not do is to let the daughter just go out and find a partner by herself. This is exactly what we are doing. And so to change that will take generations after generation. In some parts, somewhere there are families within ISKCON who are following this. And what I've seen, it has shown great results. Actually, they live very happily together as a loyal husband and wife. And some parts it does not work. It's just too much. It's just too difficult. And it feels more, it feels, I'm using this word feel because that's the problem. We are choosing to follow what we feel and what we think, and not what should be done. Which is the everyday problem for devotees within ISKCON, that they want to follow what they feel and not what Guru, Sadhu, Shastra says. And that's the challenge of the sadhaka. That's why we have Shastra, not to follow the mind, but to follow what is actually good for us in long and short term. This is actually Varnashram Dharma we are discussing here. And the last written words which Prabhupada gave before he left this world, he gave his last words on Varnashram in Canto 10, Chapter 13, verse 55. He is explaining what Varnashram is for. He writes, "We should gradually come to the sattva guna so that we may avoid the lower two lower gunas. This can be done if we regularly discuss Srimad Bhagavatam and hear about Krishna's activities. By hearing and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, the Rajaguna and Tamaguna are subdued, so that only sattva guna remains. Then Rajaguna and Tamaguna cannot do us any harm. Varnashram Dharma, therefore, is essential, for it can bring people to sattva guna. Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobha dayas chaye." Bhagavatam 1.2.19. Tamaguna and Rajaguna increase lust and greed, which implicate a living entity in such a way that he must exist in this material world in many, many forms. That is very dangerous. One should therefore be brought to sattva guna by the establishment of Varnashram Dharma, and should develop the Brahminical qualifications of being very neat and clean, rising early in the morning and seeing Mangalartik, and so on. In this way, one should stay in sattva guna, and then one cannot be influenced by tama guna and rajaguna. This is the whole purpose of the Varnashram institution. The lower gunas are a big problem. They are stopping us from experiencing the higher bliss. Even sattva guna brings you happiness on the material plane. The lower gunas are just complete misery throughout. There's no happiness to gain there. The mode of ignorance is just basically the the feeling of I am, and this is mine. This is the false ego, as we call it. And this is the bottom of illusion. It's very easy to figure out that nothing belongs to oneself. Since we're born in this world with nothing, we have to die with nothing. But still, the false ego is so strong that it creates the illusion that something is actually ours. And that if I don't have this, my life is incomplete. It's tamaguna, it's delusion. Then Rajaguna is just a desire for even more illusion, where we think, if I have this, then it will be complete. I have this also, it's fine, but if I just have this, then it will increase the quality of my life. Is also illusion. Being satisfied, that's more closer to the real truth. And absolute truth is that we're not supposed to be here at all. We're supposed to be with Krishna and just serve him with love and devotion. But it's difficult to get there because we are born and raised in environments which are not made for transcendental life. And despite how many mantras we chant every day, still we cannot give up these bad habits of being close to modern society and what it promotes. For example, if you present a book to someone in the street, it's very difficult to give a few euros for a book so valuable which can change your life. Even if the person may not be interested in transcendence, the book can at least change the life because it gives real wisdom. But it is so difficult to give a few euros for this book, but it's no difficulty at all to pay every month for things like Spotify, Netflix, YouTube, or whatever these services are. You have to pay an amount of good money each month just to pay for something you will not see or watch, just for what you click on. But you have to pay for everything rest. When it comes to a book, you have to pay once for this book, and you have it your whole life. No subscription fee. It is yours, and you can read it as many times as you want. You can even mark things in this book just to, this is important and like that. You should not do this in these books. They are holy and divine. But you get the point. That they have their values completely upside down. This is Tama and Rajaguna. So therefore, Prabhupada, he wanted this Varnashram institution to be established so that we can maintain our lives. We need to do that. We need to go to work. We need to maintain ourselves and our families. This is natural. This is one of the basic needs of a human being. You remember those? It's good food, good clothing, shelter, roof above your head, and good relationships. That's it. That's our basic needs. Everything above that is artificial. It's unnecessary desires. So we must maintain ourselves, but we must do it in an environment which is not promoting sense gratification. That is the farm, the land. It is just nature all around. There's nothing for the ears and the eyes and the nose to get super interested in. When you go to the cities, there's always something blinking. There's always something super colorful. There's always loud music, something for the senses to be occupied with. Because the restaurant owners and the owners of different businesses wants to pull you to their company and sell their product. And so therefore you must be mentally disturbed so that you can pay for their services. It's business. That's what it is. And that's the big cities for you. is a big business. And the economy needs to go. It needs to go all the time, or else, if we're not consuming, the money won't roll, and the state will not get their taxes, and everything will stand still. So the problem is, if the people are satisfied, that's a problem. But if the people are not satisfied, they're looking for satisfaction, which they cannot find. So what do? They take to heavier things. They take to alcohol, they take to sex, just to get some relief, and it just makes them more dumb. It's an endless cycle. So it's sad that the devotees of ISKCON have not established these farm communities yet, because the grihastas must have somewhere. The brahmacharis are living in the temple. They are safe. They are in a safer environment. The grihastas, they need to deal with this environment every day. It's not easy. It's not easy. They need to balance their material life and the spiritual life. But in the right environment, which there's the farm community, there is no balance. The service which they do is in the same environment as they live. You know, the parents don't have to leave their children at the daycare center somewhere. Where the father is working is not far from the home, so the children can just run over to his father any time of the day, or to his mother. Everything is close by. You don't have to sit and travel for half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours just to get to work. Nightmarish. It's the demoniac society. So Prabhupada had a regret, or well, not regret, but he wanted this Varnashram community to be established, and he did not have the time to do that. So that's what we are left with. This is the duty ahead of us, to establish these Varnashram communities, so that we can show by example. There are so many statements by Prabhupada where he says that ISKCON must be the leader of the whole world, especially when it comes to live as a human being. That we should not be just this religious sect who is we're just another group of Hindus. We're just cute and running around and singing in the streets, and we give some free food here and there. Oh, it's very cute. And then these Hare Krishnas are just there. Yeah, they're there. So what's for dinner? You know, we just become a part of we just merge into everyone else. Everything becomes one. And no, Prabhupada wanted ISKCON to be, as he explained, when whole modern society falls apart, then they're running to our farms. Because they see, hey, these guys are doing something. They are independent. They are managing on their own without the help of modern society, which is collapsing. So this is the ambition of Srila Prabhupada. So this is not easy. Prabhupada had to tell frankly what the leaders of modern society are doing wrong. He had to tell what is a real guru, what is a fake guru. He had to tell what is a human being, what is a non-human being, what is a two-legged animal. It's not comfortable to hear, but he had to tell us this. Straightforward. Prabhupada has many enemies, because there are not many who agree with his statements. Today there are many people who don't agree with his edition of the Bhagavad Gita. They're not happy with it, because it's not traditionally translated. There is so much words put in the translations which they think should not be there, but actually Prabhupada is just doing what acharyas have always done. They are putting some commentary in the translations to help the reader understand what Krishna wants to say. So there's nothing strange about it. People are not happy that we are just putting Ratha Yatras randomly out there all around the world in different times, and not according to where Lord Jagannath is actually coming out in Puri. There's been complaints about that. This is going on. Prabhupada was a preacher all the time. He never stopped preaching the truth. Because what we must understand is that Prabhupada never wanted us to feel comfortable in this world, ever. Whether being in modern society or whether being in a body like this. And he had to say what needed to be said to make us feel uncomfortable being in this world. So therefore he has to say that that democracy does not work. That the leaders are not actually leaders, they're just managing things. And they are making people fall into hellish conditions and hell after they leave their body also. He also has to tell that there are differences between men and women. He has also had to tell that there can never be equality on a material level. He has to say this because it's true. And society is falling apart because of this delusionary theory. He has to say this, and he'll get a lot of enemies. And that's just how it is. But he tried to tell it in such a palatable way as possible as a preacher. The purpose is not to make people angry, but the truth must be told, but it can be told in a positive way, which makes people take it in a positive way. For example, how Prabhupada dealt with Mayavadis. This is a good example. We know that Prabhupada, he was not very merciful with Mayavadis. He was very heavy on them. But one time there was this boy who just asked him, curiously, but Prabhupada, what is wrong with, merging into Brahman? What is wrong with that? And Prabhupada said, because he said there was no envy here. It was just a question. He just wanted to know. So Prabhupada said, yes, there's nothing wrong with merging into the Supreme, but merging into the ocean, you see. But the problem is that if you merge into the ocean, you have to evaporate again, because the sun is shining and you have to leave. But if you become a fish, then you always stay there. So you see, here Prabhupada is, in contrast, we have someone who is just raising up from his seat and yelling, I am God. Then Prabhupada, that's a statement out of envy towards Krishna, so therefore he says, you're not God, you are dog. So there he will see, he's dealing differently. So here, Prabhupada, he was strict with the truth, but he could also tell it in a palatable way, which we have to do. We have to do that. Because if we don't speak the truth, then we are actually just extending the lies. We are keeping the illusion of this material world. How much time do I have? Okay. So, Prabhupada's legacy must continue, must go on. And I want to take this opportunity to glorify Prabhupada's sincere, loyal disciples who have carried the torch of Srila Prabhupada's legacy up to this day. Because it's not an easy feat to do that. To stay loyal to Prabhupada's mission through heat and cold, through so many troubles which has been there and has come now and will come, it requires great deal of faith and loyalty to Srila Prabhupada. And we in here we are so fortunate to meet these disciples face to face, speak to them, hear from them about their experience with Srila Prabhupada and how they experienced ISKCON in the early days, where the fire of Sankirtan was so great and could really hear Prabhupada close, see how he was walking, how he was speaking, how he was dealing with the guests, how he was dealing with devotees. They could see it up front and just learn from the Bhagavat himself. What do we have to do? We have to hear from those who were there. Prabhupada is not physically present here anymore, so we are dependent on their mercy that they tell us about Prabhupada. What did he say? What did he do? And these loyal disciples who are still preaching Krishna consciousness for Srila Prabhupada, they have put out lectures, video clips, interviews on their experience of Srila Prabhupada. And from them we can learn so much. Prabhupada's books are the basic. That's the law books of the next 10,000 years. And we must study them and read them every day. We become so learned, just like a lawyer knows the law book by heart. He can recite them in court. We should know these books. But as an auxiliary, extension, we have the disciples of Prabhupada, hear from them how Prabhupada applied these principles in life and get those details and get the culture, because that's the problem of the Western followers, especially Western, that we don't know the culture. The culture is very difficult for us. Jnana, no problem. Yeah. Material world, temporary, everything falls apart, nothing is real, no problem. This we can understand. But how to apply the culture, how to serve one another, how to treat your guru, how to treat your father and mother, how to treat your brother, how to treat devotees, how to serve a prasadam, how to take care of the deities. Whatever. And so then we commit offenses. And with offenses comes no blessings. And with no blessings, there's no sadhana. With no sadhana, there's no strength. There's nothing. There are only sins. So this is the challenge for the Western devotees. So the culture we get from studying Srila Prabhupada, how he acted, how he spoke. So, but this will not take place unless we give up our own ideas on how to do things. It will not happen. Forget it. This ISKCON is a cultural revolution. Not a spiritual, it's a cultural revolution. We have to change how we behave with each other. This is a personalist philosophy with a personalist culture. And Prabhupada was expert in this. So all of us in here, we can glorify Srila Prabhupada by also glorifying his loyal disciples who are still carrying the torch and serving Prabhupada up till this day. So that to make sure that Prabhupada can be at peace, that his movement is still going on nicely. We have to carry the torch at some point. We have to take up challenges which Prabhupada's disciples never got to experience, because we're getting more and more into the future. The world is changing very fast. Technology is changing. The leaders are becoming more and more incapable of taking care of society, and that will be shown in the world around us. So we have new challenges to face, and we must prepare for them. We do that by learn how to chant properly, follow the Shastra, learn the culture, change, make that inward change, accept that I need to change my ways, I need to learn the culture. Then we may know what to do when the troubles are coming. And we can be the saintly persons among all the demons running around. We must be the saintly persons, which they can find shelter, who they can see that these people are real, they are innocent, they are very detached, and they feel safe in our environment. So then we must make that transformation. When I was traveling with Guru Maharaj in New Mayapur, Pritya Prabhu was there, and he told, this was the day or 2 days after Prabhupada left this world. Prabhupada appeared in Pritya Prabhu's dream. A very, not completely clear image. It was a little shady, but he could see that it was Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said in this dream, people think that I'm dead. So after that, Pritya Prabhu, he was calm. He understood that he's not gone. He's still here. And he is guiding us if we want to be guided. So when Prabhupada is sitting on the Vyasasana, he is here and he is observing what we are doing. And he is concerned about this movement. And he will take care of us if we hold on to his dhoti. Like that. Yes, thank you so much for your kind attention. Are there any questions or comments? Yes.
Today is a very big challenge. See mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada, especially when everyone think that they know mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada and like establish this for future. How know what is a real mood and mission, and how we can take this serious without any speculation and some that we lost away. How be sure? Because you said we have now only these few more witnesses from Srila Prabhupada times. His now disciples, our gurus, but very soon we will we cannot be in illusion that they will live forever. Very soon we will stay without them.
Yeah.
And how now that we find a proper way for keep this knowledge, mood, vision in the right way, that not spread like Christianity after Jesus, Islam after Muhammad, and something like that. Actually, you can see in in practical that other gurus doesn't matter. It's not bona fide sampradayas. As soon as acharyas left, the movement just crashed.
Yes.
We have still. We are happy that our gurus still making our ISKCON in one part and everything is good going on like it look like, you know, without, even if we have so many challenges, but now it's time that they will go. It's a responsibility to us now.
Yes.
How did we do that?
Yes. First thing, as I said, people need to learn to read Prabhupada's books. We know that they are not reading Prabhupada's books. So when you approach someone and you quote Prabhupada on a certain topic, they become shocked. But what? No, Prabhupada said this. Yeah, but if you look at the context, what Prabhupada said here is not what we should do. Then they become upset and they become surprised. And this is especially when it comes to culture. How we should. The attire of the devotees, for example. Kirtan standards is also sensitive. How marriage should go on. That we have to accept GBC. There are so many things which you can mention and the people get upset. And you can ask, well, what are you doing in this movement? If you cannot accept this aspect of Krishna consciousness told by Prabhupada, like, what are you doing here? Tama Krishna Goswami, he said in a class that ISKCON is very authority-based. It's very much based on the concept of authority. Guru, sadhu, shastra. This is how we do things. This is not how we do things. And if you don't like it, then maybe this is not the movement for you, he said. So we must teach the devotees, read Prabhupada's books. And if they have difficulty with understanding something, if they have difficulty accepting something, then you explain to them that it's not that bad. It might sound strict, it might sound weird, but if you explain it logically, it actually makes sense. If they cannot understand, it is due to an attachment. It is attachment. And that's what most devotees have problems with. This is the weakness of the heart. It is that you want to give in to these attachments just because it feels more comfortable. Getting your daughter married, like choosing the husband for him, is not comfortable. Because we are used to making the child feel free to make their own choices. It feels better because, freedom. But it's not. It's not good. So if you cannot follow that, you have an attachment there. It's a weakness of the heart. Arjuna did not want to fight his family members because it was an attachment there. And then Krishna had to get rid of that attachment so that he could do what he should be doing, and everything worked out fine. Another thing is that we can also, not everyone need to do this, but the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas should look into the Shastras of the previous Acharyas, especially Jiva Goswami. Prabhupada said at one point that the books of Jiva Goswami are very, very important, and that he at some point, and this was in early in ISKCON, that he wanted to establish some institution on Jiva Goswami's legacy, like that. So we can go back to the previous Acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, to get that culture correct. because it is coming from there. We are Rupanugas, so we must follow Srila Rupa Goswami, the 6 Goswamis. So Prabhupada's books as the foundation, the basic, and then strengthen our understanding of Prabhupada's books by the books of the previous acharyas. Like I said, not everyone needs to do this, because not everyone is Brahminically inclined. Some are that, so let them do that, because it's in their nature. Now we're getting into Varnashram Dharma again. Not everyone can do everything. So we put the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas because they need to manage things. They need to manage the temples, so they need to know what the standards are, so that they can manage the temples in a way according to Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya ISKCON. Another thing is that to study Srila Prabhupada's conversations. This is recommended by Trivikram Maharaj. That you've seen the books, Conversations by Srila Prabhupada, over 30, how many volumes are there? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Study those conversations. Very, very important, because there you can also get extra understanding of how to apply Krishna consciousness. So you see, there's a lot of reading to be done. A lot. So that we also must do. But then it also comes to how much can the devotees in ISKCON renounce actually? For example, those in the Czech Republic, Navagokula, they can renounce pretty much. Right? They are living quite austere. Yes, the devotees in Navagokula, in Czech Republic. Have you been there?
Oh, no. Maybe yes, I don't know.
Okay. It's quite a austere life.
Farm?
Yes.
Oh.
It's a farm with how many families? Do we have a number? No? There are quite a lot of families there. And there's a brahmacharya ashram, and they're growing their own food. They have their own cows. They heat up their own water with fire, with the cow dung, barely any electricity. It's quite austere. These devotees can take that level of austerity, and they're willing to go through it and learn to be satisfied in that way. Not all devotees might be willing to go through that austerity because they have attachment to some level of comfort. So what do we do with them? Do we just push them out? Here, live here, be happy. Might not work. Might work. As Rupa Goswami say, that too much austerity will break the enthusiasm. When you push someone too much, if it's too austere, you can break him. He becomes unenthusiastic. And his determination will go down because it's too tough. He will feel, I cannot do this. So if it's too hard, they might go away. At the same time, if it's too easy, it's not going anywhere. So it's such a nice balance. So therefore we need the quality of leaders. That's what leaders do. Qualified leaders, they can see what the people are capable of taking. And leaders, managers, and brahmanas, spiritual masters, they can see the qualities of the people and can put them in the right place where they can feel strong and enthusiastic and can do their best. So we must have this ideal where we're supposed to go, but at the same time see where we are and work with what we have to get there. So when we get people to the temple, we need to see who they are and how to engage them properly to keep them enthusiastic. We must give a certain push, but not too much, because that can take their enthusiasm and determination from them. At the same time, we must also give the push so that they're going somewhere. Or else they will just be stagnant and they will become a part of the property and collect dust. And they will not. the chanting will not improve, the devotion will not improve. They will stay still for 20 years. They will stand still on the same level. And at some point they will just, this doesn't work, and they leave. Or they just remain pious ISKCON devotees and go to the heavenly planets. So they were doing everything externally very well, but there was no devotion, then they went to heavenly planets. Because it just became a good karma, not bhakti. So,
is it our responsibility, question, is it a responsibility for devotees who is in a higher standard of devotion, correct devotees who is pious and just feel that they will go maybe in some high planets or something, whatever? Is it a responsibility for this devotee to tell them, stop, don't do that, or I will leave them because they cannot take, a level of austerities, and leave them like that, and maybe next time, next life, whatever.
yeah,
What is the responsibility from devotee?
you must see for yourself. You can tell them how to do things properly. If they're listening, very good. If they're not, leave them. Then you don't waste your time. Because you cannot, if they don't want to listen, then what's the point? Of course, then you also have to see how is it affecting the others. If you're a manager of a temple, your duty is to make sure that those who live here, that they are living comfortably, and that they can keep their sadhana up. So if there are any disturbing elements, then you have to deal with that. Because if you cannot make the people who are staying here, if you cannot make them pleased by staying here, they will leave. They will go somewhere else where they can be strong. And we don't want that. So the temple manager is like the kshatriya in this environment. He is protecting those who are dependent on him. It's not only to provide them with clothes and like that. There is also protection, but to protect them, protect their sadhana, so that they can do their services. That's a part of the temple manager. So you have to use your intelligence and see if this person can take rectification, if he can take chastisement, and then give him that. To not only help him, but also make sure that the environment of the temple remains palatable for spiritual advancement. Then the people will stay here, and they will see that these people are serious. They're not fooling around. So I think that's the best. And you have to look into every individual, every circumstance. It's not you see, you have the principle, then you have the application of the principle, which is the detail. So every circumstance might be special. So it's not like, okay, now I have told you something, and then you just do. In every single situation where there is someone who is doing something wrong, then you just, if I tell you, yeah, just go and correct him, and then in every time you just go and correct the guy, sometimes it might fail, sometimes it might go right. No, what I'm saying is that you have to analyze the situation and use your intelligence in how to get the message through, you see. Every moment is different from the other. It can be, maybe you're dealing with another temple president from another temple. Maybe you're dealing with a newcomer. Maybe you're dealing with a family member of your own family. You see, so you need to see the situation and then apply this principle according to that to get the best result. You want a good result. as much as possible. I think that's the best answer I can give you. But yes, the temple president is a protector of the temple and those who live there, and the guests who come. And then the brahmanas, they give the tattva, the stories, the spiritual masters, they give this kind of things. They don't manage. The temple president, they manage, and they let the brahmanas and gurus keep to the teachings. And then when the environment is good, it's sattvic, it will be a good environment for teaching. Like that. So then back to Varnashram Dharma. Cannot escape it. Like that, yeah. Yes. I know there are more experienced devotees out there whom you can ask the same question, and you will probably get a better answer. Yes. Yes, anything more? Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai.